Alright, so this is going to be my demo for just the kind of experiment with a new kind of brush or something else to create marks on a piece of paper, canvas, or whatever. I'll kind of show you what I'm working with. But what I decided was I had this roll of string. So I cut a piece of the string off, and I'm going to be using this to kind of start making my marks. And I'm also going to be, I found just a couple things I had laying around, some old India ink, which is just in a little container. And I do have some white paint. And I'm deciding to paint onto just some, this is just scrap brown paper that was packing for some shirts. So that is going to be my art piece, or my canvas. And I think I'm gonna work vertical. I have some preconceived notions like in my head of maybe what I want to make. I don't know if that's gonna end up going how it's gonna go, but I'm gonna play around a little bit and just see what I can do. So here we go. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and open this up. My India ink, which is quite old, so I don't know what this game would be like. I'm gonna first here maybe just dip my string in here and see what happens. This is going to be kind of messy, so I did lay down some protective stuff. Oh yeah, this smells really bad. That's okay though, all for the sake of art. So we're just going to kind of play around here and see what we can do. Just a heads up, the preconceived notion I had, or the pre-idea that I was just kind of thinking about what I might want to make, was just the concept of maybe like monsters under your bed. I don't know why that popped in my head, but sounded kind of interesting. So and then I had this really extreme vertical piece of paper that I didn't really know what to do with, but this kind of reminded me of like this kind of like Japanese sumi paper maybe, or just kind of interesting in terms of start kind of putting in the monsters. This is going to be a really tall bed is kind of where my process is here. So, but I'm going to put all these monster heads under the bed that I'm going to probably work into. I don't know. I have kind of a plan. Wasn't even planning on really drawing the faces or the heads with the ink like this until just now. So, what I do like about this is the ink will drip off real well. I'm trying not to get it all over my studio space here. Try to preserve a little bit of it, but I also don't want to go too anything. Like I don't want this to be pitch black in areas quite yet. So I'm just kind of playing around with form and shape and line. But obviously I have a lot less control than I normally would. Originally I was kind of thinking about using just the string ends, but now I've kind of looped this and using that as more of like a looser way to paint or create marks. So, kind of a cool start here. Kind of like where this is going. So, kind of just showing what I've got so far here. This is my India ink. This is my kind of work that I've constructed. Again, I had a little bit of an idea going in, maybe just kind of what I wanted to play around with, which I had this idea of like monsters under the bed. And just this really long piece of scrap garbage paper that I wanted to work into that I've just been holding on to. And you can see my string up there is kind of what my painting utensil is right now. I think what I'm going to try to do next is work in with some white paint. So we'll see how that goes. Anything works. I think after this I'm actually going to try a little bit of coffee. Because I've been drinking a lot of coffee. And I just think that would look cool. I think I've tried doing a little bit of stuff with coffee before. I'm not going to paint on this. Probably going to get another piece of paper to do that with, but let's see how this goes. So now I do have an area here that's kind of done up with the ink, so I'm going to try to avoid maybe overusing that. Just kind of seeing like what I can do, what I can go into here. I'm not opposed to the black ink becoming, going back into this a little bit too. So, if I'm drawing faces, or I kind of have my method of creation usually. When I do faces, I don't really go too far outside my normal way of creating a face. I generally start with the eyes of my characters and kind of build out from there. But So, you know, thinking about this, well, you know, what else could you use besides just white paint? You know, if you don't have white paint sitting around your house, could you paint with, you know, some other material? I mean, well, it could be, you know, you might have house paint sitting around. That would work fine. I actually recently painted my basement of my house, so I, you know, that would be something good. But be creative, like I was kind of saying, like, you know, coffee could be even something that you use to work as your paint, you know, or I don't know. I was thinking the other day maybe ketchup could be kind of an interesting thing here to work with. Kind of doing my bed here. I don't know. This is gonna be interesting to develop. We'll see. But you know, like later on. Right now, I'm kind of just laying stuff down that I want to work into and onto on this. Again, no right or wrong answer. I'm thinking, you know, about highlights and shadows that I may want to develop a little bit. You know, where would a shadow generally be? Probably, you know, towards the bottom or of one of these forms. But, or, you know, what side maybe is the light coming from is something I'm thinking about a little bit. But I'm not, like, overly considering anything. I'm just kind of going, and, you know, I am squinting a lot because I do that when I draw, and just something that helps me see the contrast and see what areas are pulling out well and not. Yeah, I mean, even if, in terms of picking your object to use as your brush, like this rope is kind of just interesting, this string, because it really doesn't offer a whole lot of control. You know, it's definitely playful. I'm just going to go back now and dip back in and maybe drag this along to make some lines on top here. Kind of a... Yeah, there's like, you know, there's a lot of potential for me to work back in here. I think, you know, I'm developing some forms and developing things that I think could look like something like this right now. I'm developing like the bedposts of this Monsters Under the Bed thing that I, you know, kind of started. Kind of going back in again, just, you know, refining some stuff. I don't know. Also, not trying to control it too much, but also not trying to overwork, because I do want to be able to work more into this. I don't want this to be done per se at this point. So I'm kind of thinking I might want to extend what I'm viewing as like the top of the bed, or like a bed sheet or comforter thing, down a little bit. But, you know, one of the reasons I picked this, and I think like any cardboard or like, you know, the inside of a cereal box would be kind of cool to just play around with, is, you know, I think the black and white really work well on top of it. I think myself, I work very well in black and white. My brain works that way pretty well. You know, I start getting into colors and maybe I have too much fun and I start getting too rainbowy, or, you know, incorporating too many colors. I don't know. So I got to make some decisions sometimes and work back in and block stuff out, or, you know, sometimes I get upset that I overdo something. So, but I'm liking kind of the progress on this. Kind of interesting, you know. So I might give it a rest here, because I don't want to overwork this thing, you know. want to play around, but I don't want to, you know, beat this thing to death already here. So. Again, you know, have fun, experiment. There's no wrong answer when you're kind of playing around with this stuff. You know, you can still consider basic design and elements of, you know, design and what, you know, if you were going to do a drawing, how would you lay a piece out? Like, are you gonna take this giant piece of paper and draw something really small, dead center? You know, probably not. You know, whether you have control or not. So you do want to think about those things. Okay. So I am going to call this piece good for now. Close up and larger view of the piece. Work with what you have available. Like there's no wrong thing, I guess. You know, school appropriateness is obviously important, but in general, just kind of work on what you got. You know, do you have condiments that you could use? Do you have random, I don't know, some nail polish could even work. Yeah, I would, you know, experiment and just see what you can do. Again, no wrong answer. You know, have fun. Consider your basic elements of design and things, but you know, how can you create marks and also how can you see something in your marks, embrace stuff that you like, and if you don't like something, well, there's always opportunity to cover that up later. So, all right, everybody, good luck.